The movie begins with a scene in the desert, where we see a large tree. On the tree, we also see many monkeys jumping around. All these monkeys appear very happy today because the son of their king, that is, the prince, was about to be born today. Meanwhile, the monkey king Savanna also arrives there. Here, when the king's assistant asks to Minister Vladimir about the child, he doesn't reveal anything. After that, the king calls him. The minister tells the king that a problem has arisen. After this, he takes the king inside a cave. Here, when the king sees his son, he becomes very happy because his son is quite healthy. The king names his son Vanya and says that in the future, he will become the king of their kingdom. Hearing this, the child punches the king, making both the king and the minister laugh. The minister says, "Your Majesty, he has taken after you completely. In the future, he will become powerful and brave just like you." Hearing this, the king becomes even happier. After this, the minister talks about another child. The minister shows the king another child who is quite thin. The minister tells the king that the queen gave birth to twin children, and this thin and weak child was born first, meaning he is your elder son, and according to the rules, he will be the heir to the throne. Hearing this, the king gets angry, and at that moment, the king's assistant, who is a witch, also arrives. She tells the king that this child doesn't resemble us at all, and the public will never accept this child as the king. Therefore, we should kill this child. The king agrees with the assistant. The queen has not yet regained consciousness, so the king quickly gives his thin and weak child to the minister so that he can kill him. After that, the minister takes the child to a mountain. There, he tries to feed the child to a wolf, but the child refuses to leave the minister's hand. Seeing the innocence of the child, the minister melts, but suddenly, he hears a noise, causing him to lose grip of the child, and the child falls down. The wolf was about to eat the child when a monkey named Ian, with the help of a vine, saves the child. Due to the fall, the child's hand also gets broken, making it difficult for him to walk properly. Afterward, Ian takes care of the child like his own son. They spend the whole days together having a great time. Gradually, the child grows up. Ian names him Edward, although Edward is physically weak, but his mind is very sharp. One day, Edward notices that someone has eaten the figs he had hidden for his meal. Upon looking around, he sees a mouse running away with his fig. Edward tries to catch the mouse, but fails. Seeing this, Ian makes a sticky substance from a plant to trap anything. During this time, they hear the sounds of drums and trumpets, which makes Edward very happy. Actually, it was a signal for the start of a monkey game called Coco Ball. Edward insists on watching the game, but Ian refuses to go because he was expelled from the monkey group many years ago. Even after much persuasion from Edward, when Ian is still unwilling to go and watch the game, Edward threatens to jump off the tree. Ian immediately saves Edward and then agrees to take him to watch the game. They both sneakily watch the game. Here we see the other son of the king, Vanya, who has grown quite big and strong. He is also playing the Coco game, and due to his strength, he easily scores goals, making the other monkeys in his group very happy. The king is also delighted to see his son winning. On the other side, Ian, who was initially not interested in the game, is now getting attracted to it. Edward understands this and tells him that if they go outside, everyone will see them. Suddenly, the ball comes in front of Ian, who, unable to control himself, jumps off the tree to catch the ball. This causes both Ian and Edward to fall down. Meanwhile, the ball gets stuck among the rocks. Seeing this, the other monkeys get angry at Ian and Edward, and all the monkeys join together to attack them. Edward, seeing the situation, quickly uses a stick to release the ball. All the monkeys are amazed at how Edward managed to get the ball out. Edward explains that he used a sticky substance from a plant to pull the ball out. During this, Vanya also arrives. He lifts Edward into the air and thanks him for rescuing the ball. Now, when Edward is hanging in the air, the minister and the witch notice Edward's small finger. Seeing this, they both immediately understand that Edward is the king's elder son. During this time, when Vanya takes the ball in his hands, due to the sticky substance applied to the ball, it sticks to his hands. All the monkeys together try to retrieve the ball. Meanwhile, seizing the opportunity, Edward and Ian leave the scene. On the other side, after many attempts, a monkey somehow succeeds in freeing the ball. However, the ball, after escaping the monkey's hands, sticks to the king's head. When Vladimir tries to remove the ball from King's head, not only does the ball come off, but also the king's hair comes off. This angers the king a lot. Now, since all these problems were caused by Ian and Edward, the king sends one of his men to summon them. Later, a monkey approaches them and informs them that the king has summoned them. Hearing this, Edward becomes very happy. Subsequently, they both go to the king. There, the king asks Edward. He has heard that he knows magic. Then they ask Edward to demonstrate some magic. After listening, Edward creates a splendid crown from tree leaves and places it on the king's head. The king is delighted as his baldness is no longer visible. Seeing this, all the monkeys are very happy. Afterward, Edward shows another magic to the king. He pours water into a large leaf and asks the king to look into the water. When the king looks into the water, he sees his reflection, and he becomes very happy. After that, Edward creates a swing for King Simon, and he asks the king to sit on it. When King Simon sits on the swing, he experiences great joy. The king is greatly impressed by Edward's work. Meanwhile, a witch who is not pleased with Edward's actions sends a swarm of bees to attack him. Due to the sudden attack of so many bees, there is a stampede, due to which the king suddenly falls down the mountain. Now, seeing this, Edward's brother Vanya also throws Edward down the mountain. After a while, the king somehow manages to come up from the mountain, but when he learns that Vanya has thrown Edward down, he becomes very angry. On the other side, despite falling from such a height, Edward survives. However, he also receives several injuries. During this time, Ian also arrives, trying to help Edward, but due to being far away from Edward, he cannot bring him up. Actually, according to the monkeys, the ground is cursed for them, so Ian did not want to descend. Seeing Ian's traditional mindset, Edward leaves the place. After going a little further, he encounters various types of animals for the first time in his life. Seeing these strange animals, Edward is quite happy. Meanwhile, a herd of dangerous jungle animals starts advancing towards him. Edward, frightened, starts running in the backward direction. Actually, Edward had never run in the forward direction before. Now, Edward somehow manages to escape from those animals and gets into a herd of rhinoceros. When the rhinoceros see the herd of wolves, they also start running away. Here, Edward is running at the front, the rhinos are running behind him, and the wolves are following the rhinos and also Edward. When the king sees Edward in trouble from the top of the tree, he jumps down from the tree to save him. The king somehow manages to save Edward from the rhinoceros and wolves, but is seriously injured in the attempt. Because of this, the king almost dies. But before he dies, the king tells Edward that he is his own son. Actually, the minister had told the king about Edward. Here, when Edward comes to know that he is the son of King Simon, he is quite surprised. But Vanya does not care that Edward is his brother. He pushes Edward away and then returns to the tree with his dead father. Now, because the king had died, Vanya is now declared the king of that place. Instead of rejoicing over the death of their old king, all the monkeys start celebrating for Vanya becoming king. On the other side, Edward and Ian are very sad about the death of the king. Then we see that suddenly lightning falls from the sky on a tree, due to which the tree catches fire. Edward is quite surprised to see the fire. In fact, he is seeing fire for the first time in his lifetime. After seeing the fire, he tries to touch it, due to which his hands gets burnt. By seeing this, he understands that it is not a thing to be touched. During this time, suddenly a strong storm comes there, which starts pulling everything inside itself. Edward also gets caught in the storm, due to which he starts flying in the air. While flying in the air, he suddenly sees a female monkey, who is also flying in the air due to being hit by the storm. The name of this monkey is Lucy. Here, Edward tries to get to Lucy, but as the air pressure subsides, he is thrown out of the storm. Lucy also comes out from the storm, but the storm pushes her into a ditch. Seeing this, Edward trying to get Lucy out of the ditch with the help of a rope. But that rope is weak. That is why it breaks. due to which both of them are about to die by falling into the ditch, but then Ian comes there and catches the broken rope, after which both of them are about to get out of the ditch above, but sudden Ian's hand slips the rope, due to which both of them start falling into the ditch again, but Edward somehow saves Lucy and himself from falling into the ditch, and somehow both of them come out of the ditch. After some time, when Lucy regains consciousness, she gets scared seeing Edward in front of her, and then starts running away from there. Whereas Edward fell in love with Lucy at first sight, that is why he does not leave her. He chases Lucy and reaches her. When Lucy learns that Edward saved her life, she, too, becomes attracted to Edward, after which both of them talk a lot among themselves and also enjoy a lot. When night falls, Edward lights a log on the lava fire to light the place, but Lucy gets scared after seeing the fire because she is seeing it for the first time. On this, Edward tells her that we should not be afraid of fire because fire is like our friend, which gives us light in the dark and also protects us from the cold. After this, with the help of firelight, Edward brings him near his house. Seeing Edward alive, the other monkeys start dancing with joy. Meanwhile, Vanya also comes there. He gets angry after seeing the fire in Edward's hands. He tells him that fire is our enemy. Edward understands this and tells him about the special properties of fire, but then the witch monkey starts instigating the other monkeys against Edward, due to which the other monkeys attack Edward, because of which Edward has to run away from there. After some time, both of them stop near a cave. There is a wolf in this cave. Edward drives the wolf away from the cave with the help of fire, after which both of them start living in that cave. Now the next day, both of them go out hunting together to arrange some food for themselves. At night, when Lucy is breaking a stone, a spark comes out of it, after which they come to know the trick of setting fire with stones. Lucy and Edward's life is passing very comfortably in that cave. Both of them would hunt together and then eat together. But one day, while Lucy and Edward are eating the raw meat, Edward throws a dead animal into the fire, after which, when the meat cooks in the fire, its aroma spreads throughout the forest. The smell of meat makes the rest of the monkeys yearn to eat the meat, so they all come to Edward to eat the meat, after which everyone eats the meat together. And they do have a lot of fun in the cave at night. Because of Edward, everyone is very happy today. Because of this, now they plan to stay in the cave instead of going to the tree. After which now all the monkeys start living together with Edward. Edward also teaches them a lot of things. Gradually, they all come together and form a tribe near the cave, while on the other side, Vanya falls alone on the tree. Because of this, he, along with the witch, makes a plan to kill Edward. After which, the witch gets Edward's clan attacked by a swarm of locusts. Locusts completely destroy Edward's clan. All the monkeys become very angry after seeing their destroyed tribe. When they realize that all this has happened because of the witch and Vanya, then all the monkeys come together to kill them. The monkeys go first to cut down the tree on which Vanya and the witch are. Edward stops the monkeys from doing so, but not a single monkey listens to him, and continues to cut down the tree. Seeing this, Vanya becomes very angry, and then he attacks the monkeys who are cutting the tree. During the fight, suddenly a burning wood falls near a tree, causing the tree to catch fire. At the tree, Vanya's wife, Queen Medulla, is also there, who is caught in the fire. Seeing this, Edward goes to save Medulla. Then suddenly, a big wood falls on him, due to which he gets buried inside it. After which, Edward now asks for help from people to save his life, but due to the huge flames, no one goes to save Edward. When Vanya sees his elder brother in this condition, he forgets all his enmity and goes to save his elder brother. He somehow manages to save Edward's life by getting him out of there. The witch monkey, who is still on the tree, is burnt to death in the fire. All the monkeys become very happy after seeing the witch dying. At the same time, Edward also forgives his younger brother, after which both of them hug each other for the first time. Now, because the monkeys do not have a single place to live, they all become very sad. On this, Edward tells them about a place, which Ian had told him about, after which he leaves towards that place with all those monkeys. After a few days' journey, they all reach that place. This place is very beautiful. Seeing this place, everyone starts dancing with joy. Here Edward meets Ian, Who raised Edward? Edward thinks Ian was killed in the storm, but Edward is overjoyed to see Ian alive. And with this, the movie ends here. Thank you, friends, for watching this video. Please subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications and leave a like to help the channel out.